Okay, so this afternoon we're going to do, this is a fractured sky. Now a fractured sky is a sky that's made up of mainly three colours. If you do any more, it tends to turn into mud. So we don't want that, and I'm going to use light colours. But what you do need is three colours. They're not forced to be these colours. They could be blues, they could be pinks, greens, yellows, and I'm using these three at the moment. Now you can see how they are close in value, and what I'm going to do is apply them one after the other. There's no blending with these. This is purely fractured and just pastel on top of pastel. Okay, so we're going to start with the darker one that I've got. So I'm going to just shift that off there, and all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to put this on to the pastel paper. Nothing hard about this, and I'm scrumbling it over the top, as you can see, so I'm not pressing on, but I'm not going to blend this into the background, so it's going to sit on top. Okay, and I'm going to come more down the page. So again, there's no horizon, but I'm not bothered about a floor. I'm doing skies for you at the moment. I'm just aware there's not many sky videos on here to do with the different techniques that we use. So there's one colour in the scrumbling that I'm doing, and this is the fractured sky, remember. So next is the other colour, which is a slightly lighter yellow. So that scrumbles on top of this. Again, over and over. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to hide all of the orange or the other colour that I did, but I do need to lose the background, the paper. So we just need to build up layers and layers of colour. Right, so I've used that. Now we've got the lightest, it's like another yellow, it's like a creamy yellow, and I'm going to do this towards the bottom. I'll just place them on there. So towards the bottom, again I'm just going to scrumble this over a pastel mat. And I will just scrumble that over there. More at the bottom than the top. Just going to go back to the original orange, or the original colour that I used. And again, I'm just going to scrumble that over the top. And you'll see finally that the background does start to disappear. Now you'd use this in a painting. You'd use it maybe in a sky that's a sunset sky. You may want to put clouds on top of this, but it's just a way of putting colours together without actually blending. So it's a different way, a different technique. Okay, I don't really want much on the bottom there. Just going to take in some of the cream. Get rid of some of this paper at the bottom. Right. Okay, so, and the other colour that we've got, which was the lighter, or the mid-tone that I used, again, just putting it over the top. Eventually that paper will disappear. You don't have to push it back into the teeth. It will disappear on its own. It takes a little bit of work in this one because you're actually layering pastel on pastel. Like I say, and there's no blending. So I'm going to introduce a turquoise around this bottom. That's not turquoise, Mark. Let's use a turquoise. This is the turquoise. Right, so I just hold this down a minute. And again, I just wanted to just show you how that works. You sort of couldn't see the yellow on that, so I'm just using that as a fractured sunset sky. Yeah, so you may do this behind clouds. And don't be tempted to blend that. It's very difficult. I'm just going to put some more of the orange in. And I'm just going to put in a sky colour at the top. And this is the best way of learning what these pastels do, is to just play. Just play, but this is a fractured technique, fractured sky technique. No blending with this one. No blending. So we'll just put some of that in. And you can start to imagine a sunset with this. Use a deeper blue at the top. I know I said I'm going to use 3 colours. I've actually used 3 underneath, and then I'm going to use 3 on the top. So it is possible to use more than 3, but you just have to be careful that you don't start getting a mud effect. Too many colours, but because I started with a really light colour, I'm going to get away with this. So this is a fractured sky. I'm just using the 3 blues. Okay, now you can start to see that the pastels do start blending into each other and making some suggestive cloud formations. And I've not blended anything in, they are blending themselves, which pastels do. All the crystals that's in the pastels will start to work with each other. So we get this lovely blended effect for a sky. Okay, just putting in the colours. Make sure that they work together, don't go from too light to too dark, so the tones are very close together. And I'm just scrumbling it over the top, not worrying too much about where we're going. I just want those pastels to work together. Okay, and there's not there's no quick way of doing this. It's just building up pastel over pastel over pastel. I'll go back to the cream at the bottom just to start. Okay, so you can see how that would be a fractured sky. See? So you could have done that with just the blues, but I wanted the yellows to come through the back. So you can copy what I've done, or you're best off trying your own 3 pastels. They could be pinks, they could be peaches, and also you've got to remember that when you're doing a sky, you make it relative to the ground. So if you've got, say for instance, if you've got I don't know, orange flowers in the landscape, and it's a receding field, but it's got orange flowers in it, you might make some of these colours peach, such as you might add some sort of peach colour into these colours, just to make the relationship from the sky to the ground more relative. Okay, so you just add the peach to it. All right, so I hope that answers your questions about a fractured and a blended sky, and that's my interpretation on it. You can build up, play with it, use some pastel paper, and don't forget, you can use the pastel paper afterwards. We can make a picture out of it. You know, you haven't wasted anything you use for learning is valuable to you in experience, and you can draw on it again when you're actually doing a painting to help you to remember how you did the fractured sky or the blended sky. Okay, see you next time.